Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Good morning, thinker. Yes, background today. We've got our tiger head looking pretty darn good. I'm very happy with it. Even though a lot of the last stream I put in the whiskers and kind of the tiger mane. This tiger mane is so large. I think it's looking a bit like a lion's mane. May have to give him a trim, but it's still looking good. I think it's definitely going in the right direction. Of course, we do need to work on the tiger body at some point, but I think it's time to breathe some life into the background. And you know where I'm going to start with this? Here's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start zoomed out, okay? We're going to start like way out here. Because, and actually, here's one thing I should do. I should go into all the traditional, the digital live streams, right? And we're at 42 today. This is 42. All of these folders are actually uploaded to my Gumroad. But the one thing that I want to get is our design process, where we came out with it, you know, kind of the end of it. And it ended right here. Tiger drawing, Krita part 5. Oh no, that was the full drawing. Sorry. Composition sketches right here. Yeah. So I want to look at this again. It's been a while since we looked at it. I think the idea is very much ingrained in, you know, what we're doing today. I feel like I know it. I still know it. Perseverance. Never giving up. Keep going. We want to try and get that within the tiger. And the one that we picked as far as thumbnail was this guy here. And then we worked it up like this. Okay. And then we added color to it. So I think maybe the best thing that we can do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a Control A and then a Control Shift C. This will copy every layer, and then Control N. And then instead of custom document, we do create from, that's probably like clipping or clipboard. And it will, that whatever you copied, it could be anything that's in a clipboard. It copied an image from, you know, the Windows clip or snip tool or something like that, or an image that you copied somewhere else. It's an easy way to create a flattened image. And what I want to do here is go into Control U menu and just remove all saturation. And we'll create a filter mask on that. So we have our desaturated, you know, original, or at least all gray, what we're working on right now. And then I'm going to do, let me see, Control R to select this guy. Actually, let's keep it inside the lines. Copy. Control Shift copy, so I can get every layer on there without having to worry about it. And I'm just going to paste this guy in too. And I could put it part of my reference. Actually, what I could do, go up to Image, Resize Canvas, and I can double the width to 6,000. And then take this guy. It's going to be blurry because it's a very tiny image, but we're just looking at values here. So we have two ways we can go here. Because the first thing I'm seeing, which is probably what you guys are seeing, is that the tiger has a lot more light on them than what we have in our painting that we're working up. So there's a lot more contrast. And we want that contrast. We want the perseverant tiger to really stand out. There's also a lot more contrast. Let me create a new layer. There's a lot more contrast. Okay, it is still yet. There's a lot more contrast here that we built in and there. So a bit lighter within the palm frond, at least the top one. And, you know, all throughout the tiger, we got, it's much lighter. There's the possibility of, instead of making the tiger lighter, because where are we at on, as far as the value for the tiger? Where are we at? Like the lightest part of the tiger. Yeah, we still have some room there. I mean, look at all that room. Let's go to the artistic color picker. Yeah, we still have one, you know, at least for this one, 4 levels of value that we can add in. So let's play with it a little bit. Well, let's play with it in the sense of the background first, because we're focusing on the background today. So what I want to see is, can we, let's use a bigger, like this guy, just for glazing. I believe these are the glazing brushes. So glazing texture, something that's pretty flat. Yeah, that's good. So I can pick like a dark color, make this really big, and start glazing some of these light, like dark or lighter colors back a bit further. See, even if I did that, I would still lighten up the tiger more. Yeah. I kept darkening up the side of the tiger. Maybe the next thing to do on the head was be to lighten up the tiger a bit. Like, hey dude, lighten up. Looks like I just put a helmet on the tiger. And I think that mane is too big. The more I look at it, I think it's just too much. Morning, Mom. How you doing? Hopefully it's warm there. I got down to 30 here. I got the heat on, and I'm about to take my long sleeve off because it's blowing right on me. Trying to increase the drama with this tiger by looking just at the values and how it would affect the background. So that really brought it up. So I did 2 things. I darkened up the background area, especially this kind of light area that is behind the tiger's head, and then lightened up the tiger as well. Let's throw a blur on this real quick. It's a little distracting. It's kind of glowing now. No, it's okay. All right. Okay, I think what I use this for basically is just to make the determination that when I go in and add some life to the background, should I darken up some of these areas? And I think the resounding like response on that would be yes. Although, there's one thing, there's still a lot of room on the background as far as black goes. I can still get darker with this. Hopefully this illustrates the importance that I've talked about several times of compressing your value range. Now, what does that mean? What does compressing your value range mean? When you work on, and especially with oil painting, because when you compress, with reflected light off of oil paint, you are limited as it is, and compression will help with that. But actually, through compression, you get more levels you can work within, which is interesting. I have to show you how that works. But so you limit yourself within a range. So if you're looking at this artistic color picker around here, you never go straight white or straight black. You leave at least 1 or 2 levels between there. So like you establish your lightest light as maybe number 3 here, and your darkest dark is number whatever that is right there. And you play within those values, within your color and everything. And that way at the end, like I am right now, we're getting closer and closer to the end here. I can pull out this black, and I can bump things, or I can kind of crush things down a bit, and then I can pull out a lighter white and bump things up. Yeah, I'd still like to see a shock of sunlight across the tiger's face, both from form and drama, but that's just me. No, I agree. I still want to bring that back, and thanks for reminding me. I probably need more reminder on that. Definitely. I'm going to cut back some of this main light that I put in. Just playing with this right now, just gonna get a little bit of understanding. And then if I go back in, so that's like the dapple of light that's coming through, right? Oops, except for that one. That's where it would hit our lightest light, like close to white, right? We'd have to be careful there because we are getting to the outer reaches of our ability in paint. I think if anything, a bit more light on this side as well. All right. Okay, so several things here. Well, 2 things mainly. We're going to darken up the background as we breathe more life into it, and that's what we'll work on today. And then I'm going to save this somewhere. Let's save it in today's folder. Save. Oh, oh, that's an autosave. Oh, it's freaking me out. Call it a value study. There we go. It's saved. Wow, look at all that color. It's almost too much. When you go from black and white to this, it's like Whoa, this is too much. So this is going to be interesting because I want to work generally and then also detailed. So let's go to our background area. This is going to be overall, so I'm just going to add in a new layer. And I'll bring back my references, show reference images. Here's my reference down here. Now, originally I was thinking that I was going to really darken up this whole background tremendously, but I mean, that's not the case. I think what we'll do, yeah, this is going to be an experiment. Let me hide my reference again. Let's do exactly what we did on the value thing. But the great thing about this is, look at that. I can go behind the tiger. I can go behind these palm fronds. I can go behind everything. So this is just a sheer background. Isn't that wonderful? The layers. It's fantastic. I'm going to select the darkest green I got here. Big, huge brush. And then we're just going to kind of wash some things back. Just wash it down. Very lightly, darkening it up. I sound a little bit like Bob Ross, these happy trees. Although down here I can really darken it. Really increase the contrast there. And then that's my darkest dark, but I want to go a little bit darker, not all the way to black, and hit these trees here as well. Just very lightly. I'm not pressing too hard on my stylus. Okay, let's see the difference. Yeah, definitely increase the contrast. Now, let's breathe some light into the life into this. I always say light instead of life. How do you breathe light? Breathe life. Oh my goodness. The words are not coming easily this morning. Get more tea, more caffeine. I'm looking for a particular brush, but how do we breathe life into something? And I've talked about this before. The reason why it's lifeless, because it's like a mannequin. The background is like a mannequin. How is the background like a mannequin, Chris? If you look at, a store, like at a department store, right? You look at a mannequin. There's this perfect kind of change within just value on the skin tone. And that's all it is. Dark to light, the same color. And I see lots of people paint that way. They'll mix up their colors and they'll just stay within that. They won't. And it's like, okay, well, that's an easy methodology, yes. But it just looks plasticky to me. And the one thing, I'm glad I did that, because if you look, I created this new layer. And there's all these marks that are over top of it. I have to find those marks. Okay, there they are. Oh, background glaze. Okay, I need to move this down below what we just did. Let's delete. Okay, so even those glazed marks are now darkened up. Okay. So we have our mannequin background. Now we need to just add some different hues within it. And it's going to be easy because our values are established. I don't want to touch the values. I'm really happy with where they're at. If I wanted to check it, I could do another... actually, let's do that, you know? Control-All. Control-Shift-C. Okay. Control-V. And then Control-U for the saturation. Add a mask to it. And I can just turn it on and off. On, off, on, off. And I'm just looking at the background here. I still have some room that I can darken up the background. I still have some room. But that's okay. We'll leave it like it is. And I know that I still have full black to go back there. If I need to really push it back some more, I still have that room. So we're good with the values on the background for now. What I'm going to do is find the brush that I want to work with. This will probably be a good one. Just make it pretty small because I'm going straight to the far background. We don't want any huge strokes in the far background. And I'm just going to pick like this value here, or this color. And instead of using the green that's there, I'm going to change the hue on it. And you have to be careful with this. And actually the artistic color picker would be a bit easier in some ways for this, because you can look at, and I could increase or decrease the kind of saturation level so you can see it even easier. But we're right here, okay? And I want to go maybe to the other side, just as far away from the center. And this is really small. Let's go to our bigger view. You can do the same on this color picker, which... okay, trying to actually grab the color picker. Why can't I grab the color picker? What is going on? Is it locked into place? Oh, that's really weird. Oh, wow. Alright, let's just turn it back on. Docker, advanced... Oh, geez. Now it goes up there again. Yeah, like adjusting the interface sometimes in Krita, I'm gonna say it's not the strong suit of Krita. It could use some help. But it's probably not their biggest priority. Okay, let's get back to what I was talking about. So it's right here. If I wanted to go anywhere else in the hue range, I need to stay at the same distance away from the center, so it doesn't get as gray. We're going to stay in the same value no matter what, because as long as this bar up here stays in the same place, we're in the same value. So let's try a purple right there. Now it'll be the same exact value that it is here. If we go too far out into a more saturated color, we're going to see, you know, a larger difference. It's going to look much different. So I want to stay within the same hue. So I could go to, I could go in further gray within blue if I wanted to. And I'm not going to get very specific with this. I'm not going to get too crazy about it. as in a detailed. I'm not going to go into just stupid detail on a lot of this. I feel like I want to add in a lot more warmer colors, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to back out a bit and just add in some warmer colors, but I need to be careful so it's still separated from my tiger. So warmer, but still kind of in that grayer area. But if, you know, if I pick a certain value, like this lighter value out here, I don't want to use it in these darker areas. I'm trying to go with what I see already. Much as I'm partial to purple, some blues in the background may make the orange of the tiger pop. Exactly. That's exactly. So if I pick out any kind of color in this tiger, it's opposite or it's complementary is going to be over here. It's more in the kind of bluish teals area. So we can do that. We'll pick out this green, go and take it into that kind of teal, grayish teal. And we can kind of cheat it a bit too. We can say, okay, we're gonna do the grayish teal right next to the orange of the tiger. In places. Make sure you constantly, if you're going onto a place where the value changes, you pick a new color. Or pick it from the background there. So that you're gonna always be in the similar value range. It's still screaming at me right now that it needs some warmer colors in places. That's another thing. I mean, colors do have emotions attached to them. Human emotions. We have anthropomorphized color throughout our history. And warmer colors mean more life. You know, gray means death, you know. We talked about this when we were going through like our composition studies for this tiger, you know, what all these different colors mean and how you can utilize that within your artwork. So even though we're adding the blue in there, and it does add some life to it, because it's not just a gradation of one green. If you want to kind of push that lively idea, go to some warmer colors. Let's saturate up here just a little bit more within yellow. And this is like a subjective thing that we're getting into. It's not a true rule or science that you need to follow. This is where you kind of go upon feeling. And once you get enough colors back here, enough different values and enough different hues, or what you think is enough, you can start grabbing those same hues and putting them in multiple different places. Also, the one thing is, because I'm working on this very far background, as you can see, this stick, this top stick has sharp edges, but the background doesn't. But I'm introducing a lot of sharp edges. I'm going to make sure that I'm on this painting layer here. So eventually I'm going to also put a Gaussian blur on this. Now that's really annoying. I like the really big color picker. It was actually nice. Here's the thing that I don't know on this is now that I've changed this, how do you save it, right? Oh, I guess I could do this. Chris full picker only 2. Save it. Okay, and then I can go back to, I can delete this one. Okay, that's how you do it. That way that small color picker's gone away. You know, where you can really push a lot of this coloration is in the dark area. So I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger because we're closer to the foreground. And let's go into like a magenta. Magenta will always make your dark areas look even darker. It's interesting how that works. And you can intensify it too. Adds a lot of life into that. Then let's go up into these oranges colors. Let's bump up the value a bit. Take it into more yellow. Still needs something. Let's go a little bit extreme and see. Yeah, that's really bringing the life into it now. Let's work it down this way. We're going to get into darker values now. Right behind these palm fronds. It's going to be pretty easy because I don't have to worry about going, you know, accidentally painting over the tiger. Maybe there's a little bit of influence, you know, as far as orange is concerned with, you know, maybe this tree, especially that palm frond, right? I'll probably throw some oranges on that. So it's kind of like, you know, the presence of the tiger is influencing some of the colors of this tree back here. Some reflective light. But the tree is so far away that wouldn't happen. But guess what? We're artists. We can do that. We can break the laws. That's right, Mom. I'm breaking the law. Breaking the laws of physics and art. Better call the cops. She'll be like, now, Chris, what did I tell you about breaking the law? I remember you said just don't get caught, right? Yeah, I like this kind of, this warm colors down here. Called it. And I'm going to use this to really darken up this tree here. There's certain places within your painting where, honestly, you could just throw anything in, big broad strokes, just pow. And, you know, it doesn't matter, because if you've done your job right, as far as, you know, leading the viewer's eye, no one will ever look at it. And when they do look at it, they go, oh, wow, look at those just broad, crazy strokes. And it still reads, you know. I guess that's the important part. It's got to read right, read correctly. Not distract away from the original composition as well. It's a bit light. I'm going to darken that and make it into that teal we like. I don't think it needs much more than that. Let's go into that layer and add a Gaussian blur to it. So filter, blur, Gaussian, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it, but a blur. And now I need to bring my canvas where I can see it. I got some reflected light on my tablet over here. It reminds me of when you work on an oil painting, you get all kinds of glare. I moved my studio around a bit, and so where I position the light, I have this glare. You know, that's one thing I haven't heard anybody talk about online is there's all these things that are happening around you on your painting that a lot of times it's difficult to recognize, and glare is one of them. So when you're working on your tablet, one day just close everything so that you have a completely black screen. Okay, and then just actually look at the value changes. And like for me, this whole top corner up here to the left is glare. And you're like, okay, well, that's not a problem. This XP pen, it has, you know, a coating on it, so the glare is kind of blurred out. It doesn't have any hard edges, but it will totally, I mean, even out to here, it's destroying my understanding of what those values are. As far as glare, as long as you don't have a ton of different lights going on behind you, like never work on a tablet or a screen with a window right behind you. You won't be able to see anything. All right. Well, at least a window with a light coming into it. So it's something to always think about. And if you ever want to combat that glare and you have just one single light source, lean towards the light source. Like if you, okay, I can't see where this black is. I'm going to lean to the right towards this light source, and it's going to kind of go away. But if you have multiple light sources, you can't do that. It's going to be much harder to do that. Yeah, I like it right about in there. I'm not gonna create a filter mask on this either. I'm just gonna let it go. There we are. Our background, our far background is better. It has much more life to it. Now we need to work on these palm fronds and add more life to them. I am going to show my reference here because there's some interesting parts of these palm fronds that have life to them. If you look at this palm frond right here, it's dead. You know, it's got some kind of dead branches to it or whatever. You know, over here we have some that are just like this orangish color. I'm not going to go full orange like that is because it's going to compete with the tiger. But what we can do, I'm going to stay zoomed out like this, and I can breathe some life into those. So palm 2 is the background one. Here's palm 1. And oh, that's interesting. We have the original and the new and improved in there still. I'm just going to create a new layer and go over top of it. See my comment above. Oh, sorry. I wonder if some subtle pops of sunlight in the background might help too. Yeah, sorry about that. Missed your comment. I was so busy thinking about me. Let's see. I always like trying these things. I mean, and this is the place to try it because, you know, we go into the digital realm, it's going to be a lot harder. Or, I'm sorry, we go into the traditional realm of oil painting, it's going to be a lot harder to make these adjustments. I'm going to keep it small like this. That way I can see. But here's the lightest light, or probably right here. Yeah, this is about the lightest light that we have in the background. Way down there. Let's bump it up maybe this much. And it's pretty gray. It's very gray. It's grayish green. Let's warm it up too. And let's see if I'm gonna get a very small brush. And I do have to be careful because these limbs are on the same part of that background. Let's zoom in a bit. Because I want to get some of that kind of up against the limb if we do it. So it doesn't look like I've painted around the limb, right? Let's go a little bit lighter. Let's just go a bit crazy on that. I'm going to blur this out afterwards as well. You know, maybe like it trails off in that direction. Ooh, and I like this really warm color. Let's make it warmer and lighter. Not sure what that is back there, but it's something that we created with our random brush strokes. Back to this light color here and here and here. And then maybe it transitions into that warm color. I mean, there's so many random shapes back here that you could kind of take advantage of and outline or something, or stripe through in a darker way. Let's see. It's a little distracting. It could be because of the hard edges. But it looks like, you know, there's something up there, right? Like something's happening. Maybe we have a lighter green and maybe some of that light's coming down and hitting something else back there. Yeah, I actually like that. I like that a lot. What I am going to do is I'm not going to use a Gaussian blur on this. I'm going to get this brush, which is a nice, very soft blurring brush, or mixing brush. Oof. I don't like where it went. Yeah, I think the problem with the Gaussian blur is if I did the Gaussian blur on this again, because I'm on the same layer, what is already blurred is going to be blurred out too much, and then new things aren't going to be blurred enough. So I'm using this, darn it. Okay, zoom in. I'm using this brush that is a, man, what do you call it? A blender brush, yeah. Just to hit these ones that I added in. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. That's real nice. Thanks, Thinker. Appreciate that. All right. Now let's go into the palm fronds. Gotta make sure that I get into the right layer. That's background. This is the layer that we created for the palm frond. Yeah, we're on top of it. That's good. And let's go back into the large mode. And what I want to do here is look at kind of, you know, these dead leaf colors. Let's go a little bit crazy with it at first. All right, let's see what how far we can mess it up and then bring it back. I don't want this brush though. I'm liking these glazing brushes here. I think, is it this one I was working with? Yeah, this one's actually nice. I like this one a lot. Darn it, I keep doing that. And every time I hit Control Spacebar to zoom in, it doesn't happen quick enough and I end up drawing on the canvas. Or picking colors randomly. Just gonna zoom in a little bit so I can get, you know, one or two of these palm frond leaves. Going with these very saturated colors that are in this photo. Let's see, this leaf here is dead. Let's kill that leaf. And then the other thing I want to do is exactly what I did with the background, which is I'll pick a color and I want to stay within that value. Got to remember where I was, like right here. But let's just warm it up a bit. Stay within that same value range. Put this in a few places, staying within that same value area. Let's jump up to the higher values. I'm going to warm it up slightly as well. I gotta say, Chris, I really appreciate your going through your whole, all in caps, whole process, mistake and all, as well as your thought process. I've wanted to see something like this for years. Fantastic job. Hey, thank you so much. You know, it's very important to me that you get a lot out of this. If I can make that difference in your life, I can make the same difference in so many other artists' lives. So if it's working for you, then I know it's going to be working for a lot of other people. As soon as I think the big thing about it is just trying to get it out there and sharing with other people, you know, and I'm working on that every day, trying to get other things out there and lead people to everything that I do and try and help them out. The whole marketing thing, yay! You know, that's the one thing. You know, we were talking with Ashton yesterday on the stream, and I think if I went back and told my other self something, I'd say, you know, buy a computer earlier, spend all kinds of money on your computer earlier, and get into it for creative pursuits. And then I would say, take marketing courses. But I don't know, marketing at that time was, you know, not the type of marketing I would like to do. Marketing's come a long way recently with the help of Seth Godin, Derek Sivers, and people like that, where the underlying proponent of it is providing value and helping others. Anyway, won't talk more about that. This palm frond, adding life to it, and maybe too much life, and that's or too much color. I mean, what does that mean, life? I have to constantly kind of qualify what I'm talking about, right? So that definitely added much more interest into it. I want to see if I can go into those teal colors over here a bit more. Like almost too much. Yeah, we need an AI marketer. I'm using that. Let me tell you, ChatGPT is pretty awesome. It's very helpful. Yeah, for a lot of things. But as long as you use it, you know, I'll say this, as long as you use it as a tool and not nefariously. It's like Midjourney. I stopped using Midjourney completely because there's so many people out there that are taking advantage of it, saying, this is my art, when they generated it and used like all these other artists' names to do that, and it looks like other artists' work, and they're saying it's theirs. It's like, no. Sorry, you can't do that. Well, you can, but you're just hurting yourself, really. Let's bring in some harder edges here. A bit more texture on this. Maybe that's what we're lacking. Let me look at. Let's go lighter with some of this. Especially closer to the tiger, like raindrops. Little pieces of glare from maybe it's wet in places. Don't want to do too much. Zoom out, Chris. Zoom out. Oh, that was too much. Yeah, we're getting into a very subjective area of this painting. Where, you know, it's going to be all about preferences. You know, this is what I think looks good, so this is what I'm going to do. And that's great, because that's where your art lies. You stick with your preferences. I kind of like, you know, this one orange frond thing. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to go into my Control U menu. We're going to mess around with some hues real quick. Wow. Like you can, like here's where it is, right around there, and then I can like blend it in pretty quickly if I wanted to make it just ridiculously awful if I wanted to as well. We're going to go back to 0 on that one. I could also bump up the saturation to this tremendous level where it doesn't look any good, or bring down the saturation. So if I did this, it'd be slightly bring down the saturation and maybe lighten things up. No, not lightening things up a bit. I don't want to darken them up either. You know what I'm going to do? Let's do this. Control-Alt, Control-Shift-C. Go back to our value study. We're going to paste in a new one. Over top. I love how it just kind of flows right in there, right? Control-U. Remove all saturation. Create that mask. Yeah, it needs that light. It needs that shock of light on it that I put here. It does, I don't feel like it distracts as much, but it needs something. Okay, let's go back to, you know, I have to say that is a really good practice to get into, especially if you have multiple layers. Just Control-Shift-C, copy everything, and then just look at it in values alone, especially next to, you know, your original idea. That'll really kind of keep you aligned in a lot of ways. I love that. Developed it today. Cutting edge. I'm pretty sure there's lots of digital artists out there like, yeah, we do this all the time. What are you talking about, Chris? Old news. Let's go super light. I got my glazing brush from David Ravoy, which he's awesome. And actually, I'm going to go back to the layer. And no, I'm not going to lock the transparency on it. We're just going to paint it. And if I go over the edges, I go over the edges. A lot about that is makes things look a little bit more natural. Hard edges don't exist everywhere, you know? think, I mean, if I look at the palm fronds, they all become kind of one shape within there with just very subtle value differences when it gets to the top of the palm frond. So I'm going to try and capture that to make it look as natural as possible. I want some more saturation in this color though. Even more. And now I can bring in the lighter colors and desaturate a bit. Something about that just doesn't look right. I think it was the colors I chose. The hue, to be specific. Okay, let's do this, and let's stay within the green range. And I'm going to create another layer so I can affect this differently. How about using that teal as a high highlight on the palm frond? Well, you know me. I'm all about trying things. Let's try the teal. Man, I love that big color picker. See, I did it again. Okay. Here's where we are right now. Let's go all the way up here. I'm going to stay within the same kind of gray. About right there. That's not too bad, but just something's telling me that it's too... that it needs to stay closer to the original green. Yeah, I don't think the teal is working too well. I'm sorry. I'm going to stay within this green, and I'm going to lighten it up. I'm not even going to saturate it. I'm just going to lighten it up. And we're going to start with there, like a very simple base. Like a testing base. We do one simple change, see how it looks. I feel like that looks more natural, honestly. I'm going to saturate it a bit more and see if I can... It's getting too warm there. Just mess with the hue just a little bit. I'm not sure that really did anything. No. Here you go. This is going to be a nice color. I'm being sarcastic. Oh, but I could be wrong. Actually, that's not too bad. I just picked one of the, like, the crazy... Look at that green. It's like... I don't know. It doesn't look like that's a very natural green, but I picked it from that photo. Really kind of brought the light within there. But it needs more to it. We're getting into that kind of mannequin idea. Add some kind of reds. Let's bring in a couple teal. Just pops of different color within there. Not even caring about the value right now. I'm just staying kind of in the same value range. Kind of staying in the same value range. Maybe we take some of that and go to one of these back palm fronds. Create a new one right there. I need to blend it a bit more. Okay, opinion time. What do you think? Let me zoom in. Whoa, not that far. There we go. I don't know what size screen you're looking at this on, and I mean, you could be on your phone. I have no idea. But actually, could be the best way of looking at it. You know, something really small. That'll give you a better understanding of the overall. I think it's very colorful now. It's like a candy cane palm frond. Look at the highlight on the frond, the lower left, and how it describes the form of the leaves. Do you mean lower right? I think you do, because this highlight down here, it's like chrome, right? It's all exists within this one area. But when I look at, like, if I look at the palm fronds that I'm using, all the highlights are on the top and it just kind of curves over. But I think I get your point. What's happening here is I could have just wonderful colors. Oh, sorry about that picture. No worries. I understood what you were talking about. I could have all the cool colors and values and stuff, but if it's not really matching, you know, a naturalistic thing, then it's not going to be working. Here, I'm going to pull this out. Actually, before I do the copy, oh wow, that's interesting. I didn't expect it to mirror what I selected. There you go, you can do that. Had no idea. So I'm pulling this in here so I can just really look at how the values change over this frond and get it to look better. Why did you go all the way down? No, I wanted you to go up there. Thank you. I mean, we did change the... We changed the orientation and everything. The shape of this palm frond. It's basically become our own, right? But I really need to look at this and get some understanding from it, because I'm not seeing that within this frond at all. So let's do that. Get into it. Yeah, we'll just stick with this brush for now. There's always this kind of fear of redo. Fear of change that comes in. Especially when you're, you know, this is something I'm experiencing for the first time when I'm working live, you know. Gotta keep it entertaining, gotta keep it fun, gotta keep people interested. But, you know, I tend to go for reality more than anything. My website is all about that. This is the reality of the artist's life, you know. All the mess ups, all the screw ups, everything, it's all here. And, you know, my younger self is the person that I want to influence, a person like that. My younger self was frustrated at just seeing finished works and not the process, not the difficulties. Too many artists putting on airs and going for perfection, or acting like that they know everything right away. No, I didn't mess up anything. Just perfect. So anyway, that's me justifying being boring on a stream. This is me. Get some brown into that, like right at the edge. Now I'm looking at particular fronts, like specifically looking at this one and saying, okay, I'm copying it to there, exactly. Totally could have photo bashed this onto here, and you know the bottom palm frond, we did that, and I was showing this to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Wow, that bottom palm frond looks really great," and immediately I went, "Crap." I said, I totally photo bashed that. And he's like, well, it looks really good. It has its advantages. Quickly get to a very natural looking... I think we talked about this before. It's like if you have a very complex, like organic shape that you're dealing with, yeah, photo bash the heck out of that thing, because trying to get that within a painting is gonna take you forever. You know, balance it. One balance I'm thinking of right now, and it's kind of an interesting dichotomy. We always want to think about the big shapes, right? The big ideas of things. Get that right. The larger value areas, the the edges in the background need to be all soft compared to the foreground. But it's kind of a give and take. Me and my friend were talking yesterday about contrast, or about structure versus gesture. And within draftsmanship, there's always a play between the two, and you don't focus specifically on one, but you go back and forth all the time. You know, you got the structure in. Did you lose the gesture? Then go back and get in the gesture. You know, always referencing each one. And why am I talking about this now? Yeah, why am I talking about this now? Too many tangents in my brain. Just lost the train of thought. Went right off the tracks. Yeah, that whatever I was talking about there is not coming back. Sorry. Not yet. I am not liking how my palm frond looks. Let's keep it zoomed out for a little bit. I'm going to take color out of the equation right now as well, because it's not the color, not the hue. It's all about the value in the drawing right now. That is not working. So I'm gonna lean heavily on my skill as far as observation's concerned, and really observe a few of these palm fronds, these little leaves off the palm frond. And grab in what I can exactly, and I'm picking from my reference as well. If you're having difficulties on anything, I mean, this is art and in life, how can you simplify? Deal with one thing at a time. I agree. It's the transition of the value. Yeah, something about it just... it's not there. It's either... because what I'm seeing when I squint down on this frond here. Let me show my cursor. So this frond here is not a gradual transition from dark to light, but it turns really quickly. So let's express that a little bit, kind of more on the nose, more exactly, more extreme. I mean, the transition comes out and then bam, just it has a definite structure to it. Exactly. Thanks, Tinker. I appreciate your input. So much time as an artist we spend making decisions like this and then second guessing. So it's nice to have someone that either confirms that we're right or confirms that we're wrong. I think some of the best friends you can have are the friends that don't just say, yeah, sure, you know. It's the whole set of the leaves almost forming a plane. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's the whole top area. Let's do that. Like, it's cutting through. I'll have to finish my friend thought in a moment because I'm going to do this. I'm going to just, I'm going to block it out into simple shape. Dark, dark, dark. Dark here as well. Dark there. I think all these kind of dark areas are matching, and I need some light up here. Maybe a bit lighter. A bit lighter. Lighter up there. And then I'm going to basically take all of this lighter area. Let me just bring the value down just a little bit so that I can have a bit more range. Just blend it all together. Oops. Took that into my dark. So I'm trying to make this kind of line, right? Now that's really sharp. It's not very natural, but we can bring that back. We get kind of the general scope going. I mean, it's a very straight line, but we can adjust that as long as what I've done looks pretty good. I want to keep all this a bit more dark though. A bit more dark. English is my first language. I want to keep this all darker up here. This is like a compositional concern, really. It's coming out of shadow. But I want this to look good. Maybe a better transition. One thing I do want to do is how this frond here, these little splines on the other side kind of come out in this way. I really want to grab that. I want to make that look better. So I'm going to grab some background color and sharpen up some of this. Don't lose your orange tan leaves. Yes. And bring those back in. Yeah, I really like this leaf down here. You can see this leaf. That's really nice. Try and bring that one in as much as I can. I'm actually going to pick from the tiger. I'm also zoomed in way too far here, so I need to really be careful. Getting too detailed. I could spend all day on the details and then zoom out and then realize that the drawing or something major is so wrong that all those details need to be redone. Or what happens even more often is you work on the details and no one ever, like, you can't see it. Like, it doesn't make a big effect on the entirety of the composition. Or it makes a negative effect on the entirety of the composition. That's that's always a possibility. Okay. Overall structure of that palm frond has gotten better. It's a little bit mechanical right now. So we need to bring it back. Let me do a couple things here. Thanks for sitting the time, but it's time for me to start the rest of my day. See you tomorrow. You know, I'm not sure. And I will post it up if I decide to have, because I haven't had a break this week on the streaming. Maybe tomorrow will be a good time. But you're right, I need to start my day. It's already 6 o'clock, or the rest of my day as well. Yeah, this is a good stopping point. thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Thinker. Thanks, Mom, for showing up. And yeah, look for the scheduled stream whenever that's going to be. It may be tomorrow. It's definitely going to be Tuesday if it's not tomorrow. But anyway, I'll see you guys on the next stream. Thank you so much. And it's looking really great. Even though we're struggling, it's still looking every single day, just looking a little bit better. And that's fantastic. All right. See you guys on the next stream.